welcome everybody. Tonight we're having the conditional use hearing for the Bawa property. We're going to start with a moment of silence followed by the pledge, at which time I'll turn it over to our solicitor to start the proceedings.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Attorney Mike Crotty. I'm a solicitor for the township. We're here on the conditional use application for the Bawa Fellowship. I've got a couple of exhibits, township exhibits, to introduce into the record, and then I'll explain a little bit about what the process is. I'll ask for anyone who wants to be a party to come up and fill out a sheet to request party status, and I'll explain what that is. First, the township exhibits that we'll be noting tonight for the record. Exhibit T1 will be the May 2012 settlement agreement between the township and the property owner, the applicant. T2 is the January 2000 conditional use application. Exhibit T3 is a set of conditional use plans and the transmittal letter provided by the applicant on August 22nd of 2016. Exhibit T4 is the notice of the hearing for tonight, together with the proof of publication. Exhibit T5 is the affidavit of posting signed by the Township Public Works foreman, together with the photos he took showing where he posted the property. Exhibit T6 is the form of resident notice letter for all of you who received those. And Exhibit T7 is the Township Engineer's Review Letter dated, I believe it's October 7th, 2016.
Yes.
Yep. So generally, by way of background, this is a formal hearing tonight. The way this conditional use hearings operate, the applicant has a chance to present its evidence through testimony and witnesses and exhibits to establish how they meet the different criteria under the zoning ordinance for a planned institutional community. The board up here sits as essentially the judge of the application, so we hear and listen to the evidence. Anyone who has a property who will be affected by this parcel can request party status. I do have a form up here for you to fill out if you want to do that. What party status allows you to do is present your own testimony and evidence and witnesses once the applicant's done with theirs. You also get the chance to cross-examine or question the different witnesses that the applicant presents. And to the extent that you disagree with whatever decision that the board renders in the end, you're then free to take an appeal to the Chester County Court of Common Pleas. If you intend only on making generalized public comment, I note you still have the opportunity to do that at the end of the hearings on the application. You don't need to be a party to do that. So at this point, I'd ask if anyone wishes to be a party, if they can raise their hand, identify themselves for the record. You'll have to come up and explain, be sworn in and explain where you live, how you think your property will be affected, and the applicant will have the chance to ask questions about that, and the township board can move on. First up.
I'm Jill Beach.
Can you come up front here, please?
Shall I sign this now?
If you fill it out, and I'll ask you to fill it out and return it by the end of the meeting.
If you can go up to the microphone up here.
I'm sorry, I thought you
everybody
could
can
hear
hear
me. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Jill Beach, and I live in an adjoining property, and I don't know the parcel number, but it's just down at Park Avenue and Glen Rose. Do you need any more information?
Can you spell your name for the court reporter?
B as in boy, E-E-C-H, like the tree.
Maybe your mailing address.
6 Park Avenue, Coatesville, PA.
Attorney Gerald, do you have any objection to Mrs. Beach?
And if I understand,
I'm
Ms.
not Mrs., excuse me. I'm either Miss or Doctor.
Dr. Beach, you weren't a adjoining property owner?
Yes.
No objection.
Next up,
Do I fill the form out now, or do I announce myself?
you announce yourself, come up, present your, where you live and such, and you can fill out the form provided by the end of the hearing.
I don't think I'll need a microphone. Michael Wylam, W-Y-L-A-M, this is Michael. 324 Ramsey Road, East Fallowfield, 19320. I'm here tonight to ask questions, and whenever that time is appropriate, I'll do that then.
Any jurors have any questions?
Mr. Wylam, where is 324 Ramsey Road located?
Off of Strasburg Road, near the Doe Run Presbyterian Church.
And approximately how far from the subject property?
I would say about a mile, mile and a half.
I would like to reserve an objection to Mr. Wylam's party status, and perhaps take this up again, Mr. Crotty, at the close of the testimony.
That's fine.
Do I need a reason now?
Wait, if you could, can you spell out for us on the record how your property would be affected by the applicant's property?
I don't know enough about the organization. That's basically it.
Okay.
And I have other questions I'll address later if you'd like.
Okay.
Is it beneficial for all of us to make a, comment about it, or,
Just a
I
couple.
mean, is it beneficial for all of us to come forward or not?
It's-
That's
it's-
my question.
It's your
Because
decision.
it's not not easy to understand, we've never,
So it's your decision whether you want to be officially a party to the proceedings. If you want to just generally make public comment about the application, you have a chance to do that
okay,
without being a party at the end of the hearings.
okay.
Being a party entitles you to present your own evidence, testimony, and witnesses, and cross-examine the applicant's witnesses.
And we become a party after the fact.
Well, now typically you have to request party status here during these hearings. And we do have a court reporter at the front, so she's taking down everything we say, because it's transcribed for the record. If we could just make sure to identify ourselves for the record, I'll try to speak only one at a time. It would be, I'm sure, much appreciated by her. Sir?
My name is Earl Emmel. I live on East Fallowfield, been here quite a few years. And I live on Temecula Road. Temecula Road goes back right along where the fellowship wants to build their institution, as they think they're using. And I am actually surrounded by the fellowship properties. I have a parcel of land there, and we are in that location because when we were there, and also I think when fellowship members bought the properties, it was 20 acre zoning, and there was one house on 20 acres. And it's a prime farm land. There's nothing but, there's probably somebody that's farming it is making thousands of dollars off of that property right now.
Mr. Crotty, if I could interject, I don't mean to cut Mr. Emmel off, but this is the time for party status reservation. I think Mr. Emmel will have an opportunity to give a statement as we get into the hearing.
Yeah, that's correct. If you could, Mr. Amel,
Yes,
if you could fill out the form.
okay, everybody knows who I am now around it.
Mr. Emmel, what is your street address?
130 Temecula Road,
You say you're surrounded by the subject property?
that's correct.
So you're an adjoining property?
I am,
Okay, very
very
good.
definitely.
Thank you. No objection to Mr.
Objection, yes.
My name is Joe Monfora. live at 85 Temecula Road, East Fallowfield, PA, 19320. My property is directly across the street from their property. Is there anything else that we need to state right now?
At this point,
Wait until-
Attorney Gerald, do you have any questions?
No questions, and I would have no objection to Mr.
Thank
Montour's
you.
party status.
Next up.
My name is Doreen Maurice Carney, and I'm at 105 Temecula Road, right opposite you.
Right across the street, ma'am?
That's correct.
And again, no objection. Could you spell that last name for us?
Kearney.
Did you say Maurice?
It's Maurice Carney. Maurice, my husband's Carney.
Thank you.
So,
It's nice to meet you.
Anyone else?
M-A-N-N-E-R, and I live at 80 Temecula Road.
And do you know approximately how far away you are away from the property you are, the applicant's property?
I don't know exactly where it is, but, very close.
Attorney Gerald, do you have any questions?
Would you say, ma'am, within a quarter mile of the property?
Yeah.
No objection to Mr. Montour's party status.
It's M-A-N-N-E-R, no S on the end.
Madam.
Pamela Bastings. Hi, I'm Pamela Bastings. I live at 2 Park Avenue, and I border the property. In fact, I have the stream running through my property.
No objection to Hastings?
Hastings?
Hastings. Thank you.
Like basting a turkey with an S on the end.
Got you, thank you. Hastings party status request.
Hi, I'm Alan G. Cook. I live on 2680 Strasburg Road, and I'm approximately 3/4 mile from there.
And I would like to reserve the same objection with respect to your last name, sir?
Alan G. Cook, as in cook in the kitchen.
With regard to proximity from the property. Mr. Friday.
Anybody else?
Mike, would you know clarification between public comment versus?
Yes, public comment will come at the end of proceedings. And that stuff that, we're required to take in as part of under the Sunshine Act and Pennsylvania law. It's not considered evidence that the board can consider. Instead, it's considered what it is, public comment.
So, if you want to have something entered as evidence for the board to consider making this decision, you would want to be requesting party status versus public comment.
My name is Sharon L. Scott. My address is 325 Hepzibah Hill Road, East Fallowfield, PA, 19320. I'm approximately, I would assume, 2 miles from the Bawa Redeemed Fellowship. But I am prepared to accept waivers to allow me to present and be party, as waivers have been given to builders and lawyers, etc. So with that in mind, I'm open to any questions, but I definitely want to enter verbiage regarding this proposal, and I want it to be entered on the record and be evidence.
Okay, if you can make sure to fill out the form there, and if Attorney Gerald, do you have any questions of Mrs. Scott?
I don't, based on Ms. Scott's proximity, or lack of proximity to the property, 2 miles, I would object to Ms. Scott's party status as I've done to Mr. Wild.
So what does that mean?
So at this point, he's reserved the right to object. So I assume at the close of the hearing tonight, the board will require him to put in writing the basis for his objections. You'll have the opportunity to present your own writing before any subsequent hearing to support your position to have party status, and the board can make a decision at that point. I think for purposes of tonight, to the extent that you get to cross-examination of any witnesses, you would have the right to cross-examine.
Well, I would only add at this time, which I assume will go on record. The whole purpose of a Board of Supervisors and a township entity is to provide for the health, welfare, and safety of all its residents, no matter their proximity to anything.
Amen.
So I object to his objection. And I would expect you, Mr. Crody, because you are advising the Board of Supervisors. And since we, the people, have elected these Board of Supervisors to serve East Fallowfield residents in reference to our health, our welfare, and our safety, I want this Board of Supervisors to override Mr. Jarris's objection. I request you and this board to have a waiver, like you did for certain builders. They get waivers, and they don't have to follow the rules that we, and I have always followed. And that's why I hear what you say. Now, so then I have to take more measures? By what rule and by what rule of law is that?
So, two things. First, a waiver is something a little bit different. That's something under the subdivision land development ordinance that a developer or applicant requests. It's a little bit different from the procedure we are here. You're going to be given an opportunity, you take it or don't take it, to present your position in writing following tonight's hearing as to why you have party status. The applicant has the opportunity to present its position as to why you would or would not have be entitled to party status. And the board would then make a decision. I'm not saying, don't presume that I'm saying that the board would say yes or no, but the board would make a decision prior to the next hearing.
Okay, second question. The end of the hearing, when it has public comment, that's exactly what it's going to be. It won't be in evidence.
Correct.
Well, see, I find that just, again, by what law and what rule, where is that written? That the taxpayers of this township have to live within how many feet, how many miles of the proposed land use?
So generally under Pennsylvania law, you have to establish that you have a property interest that will be affected by the application. And that's what you can set forth, and you can look under the municipality's planning code and put your position in writing to the board for the board to make that decision prior to the next hearing.
Well, I would just go on record to say that all of our properties are going to be influenced by any construction of this magnitude.
That's exactly right.
So, again,
I'm sorry,
I
Ms. Scudder.
hear what you're saying, but I'm just going to stand my ground, sir. I object to this procedure that is not allowing the public taxpayers of this township to participate with evidence and have it be there.
Very well. The board hasn't made a decision that you're not a party. What I indicated was you have the opportunity to present your position as to why you get party status. The applicant has their right to raise their own objections to your party status. The board will make that decision prior to the next hearing. For the purposes of tonight's hearing, to the extent that you get to cross-examination, you'd be able to ask questions of the party's witnesses.
Okay,
So
so,
the board has not said no to your request.
okay, so then I assume this hearing will be continued.
I expect it would be, yeah.
Okay, so then I have to give a letter to the Board of Supervisors to state my position over and above what I've just stated.
What I said was you have the opportunity to, you don't have to if you don't feel that you need to, but you have the opportunity to, just like the applicant has the opportunity to present its written position on the issue.
I still, okay. So what do I contain in my writing? I have to put all that I wanted to verbally state here?
I suggest you look at the application form, because it asks you the main question, which was, I believe I'm entitled to party status because.
Wow.
And otherwise, Mrs. Scott, I can't give you legal advice as to what your position should or shouldn't be.
I
You're
understand
representing
that, but
the
I just
township.
don't know, I've already expressed what my legal, because it's going to affect my health, it's going to affect my welfare and my safety, and that of actually the entire community. So, should I put on this all of the presentation that I plan to speak about?
I can't counsel you as to what you put on there or don't put on there. The main question for whether you have party status is whether you have an interest, generally a property interest, that would be affected by the application. If you want to spell that out in your opportunity, the board will provide you to submit something in writing, certainly feel free to do so.